Welcome back to Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game, as we begin the first turn on our objective to leave it all behind. Our victory conditions written here, so we know what we need to do. It says all non-exiled players, we're not playing competitively, so there's no exiled players anyway. All non-exiled players must have one weapon equipped to a survivor they control. Players have placed 3 food cards under this objective for each player that started the game. Starter food cards don't count. And players may place non-starter cards under this objective any time during their turn. Okay, so we've got to try and search for food, collect it here, and get 3 weapons, one for each player. She has the first player token, and it says the first thing we do on a player's turn, each round, remember there's going to be 5 rounds in this game, a round consists of 2 phases, the player's turn and the colony phase. We start by revealing a crisis. And Olivia reveals killer instinct. The crisis is not going to resolve now. What it's going to do is it's going to tell us what we need to resolve before we get to the colony phase. It says we're going to have to discard food or medicine equal to the number of players. And if we fail, then 3 zombies get added to the hospital and the gas station. There's also this optional part down the bottom. If we get any additional resource cards, then we gain morale. So going above and beyond the crisis requirements is going to give us some extra benefits. These crises work well because they distract you from the main objectives. They keep the pressure on the players to make decisions about where they want to spend their resources. The next step in the player's turn phase is to roll their action dice. The players get 1 action die plus an additional die for every survivor in their group. Group leader and 1 follower, Olivia and Gabriel. So she's going to get 3 dice. 1, 2, 3. At the start of the game, all players will get 3 dice. So each player rolls their 3. And these dice are going to be used to take actions during the next step of the player's turn. Now, as it goes, these values here, this is their attack value. For Olivia it says 4+, and a search value 3+. This is their ability at attacking and searching. Lower is better, so maybe Gabriel might have made her a better leader. So let's learn from that insight and take the opportunity to swap those around. It's no big deal, we've not really started yet. High dice are good. Anything equal to or higher than your attack value would be a successful attack. Okay, and these are the things that we're going to be doing on our turn now. Before we start taking action, so the first thing we do is draw a Crossroads card. One of these. This one is Maria Lopez, and each of these crossroads will have a trigger, and this card's going to stay hidden until that trigger occurs. In this instance, it says if the player controls Maria and she's not exiled. We don't control Maria. And when it says the player, it refers to the current player, in this case Gabriel now. So Gabriel doesn't control Maria, the Crossroads card is going to stay hidden. But if at any point during this turn we do control Maria, then this will suddenly trigger, and then we have to resolve it. So what about these player actions then? These are the actions you can take on a player turn. We're each going to take turn, each of the 3 players. Some of these actions will require our action dice. Some actions do not require the dice. Alright, so there's stuff you can always do even if you get poor rolls. As we're starting out and we're learning, why don't we look at each one of these? Let's start with an attack. Our survivors have to be at the same location as a zombie or another survivor that we wish to attack. Now, playing solitaire and cooperatively, you're not going to want to attack other survivors. You're only going to want to hit the zombies. They're your common enemy. The zombies are going to get placed here at the colony. Remember, starting at point 1 and moving anti-clockwise. So entrance number 1 is always going to be the highest risk. All our survivors here in this colony section, they're in this location. This is a single location. So we could have Gabriel or Olivia, they're both standing here in the colony, run out and take out one of these zombies. As it goes, it doesn't matter. For Gabriel to successfully attack, he needs a 2+, this value here. For Olivia, it's 4+. So let's have Olivia rush out and attack this zombie. So we spend a die, and this time the value on the die matters. It has to be a 4 or higher. So let's take our 5, and we'll move it over to the used action die spot. And you can see then that these actions here are limited by the number of dice we have. That's an automatic success. We'll take the zombie we want to kill. That gets removed. But for killing that zombie, there's always a risk. And this is where we use this die here, the special die that's custom made for the game. This is the exposure die. Every time we move outside or kill a zombie, we're exposed to not just the weather, but potentially getting attacked by a zombie. So we roll this dice every time we kill a zombie. We've been wounded. We were lucky. I mean, it could have no effect. Frostbite is a little bit worse than a wound. Bitten by a zombie is going to be fatal for our survivor, and potentially a bite effect spreading through the colony. So this was a pretty risky action, trying to take down a zombie with the colony full. We were only wounded. So Olivia takes a wound. A survivor can only take 2 wounds. The 3rd wound is going to kill them. The next type of action we see here is the search. And we can't search at the colony. There's nothing there to search for. We have barricade. The barricade action allows us to place one of these barricade tokens on one of the entry points of the location we're at. So we can place our barricade anywhere we wish. Let's place it on the number 1 entrance. Which I'm going to place it here at number 2 because that will stop a zombie spawning. If I placed it here, there's still an empty space for a zombie to appear in. With it here, that's actually going to stop a zombie spawning. Placing a barricade costs 1 die, but it can be a die of any value. So let's just take the number 1. And now we can continue taking actions if we wish. Clean waste, attract zombies. I don't want to do those just yet. We'll come back to those. There's some actions here that do not require an action. So let's do some of those. We can play a card. And since we can take these actions as many times as we like, we can play as many cards from our hand as we wish. What I'd like to do is put some food down, I think, in the food supply. So we can play this food card. Because this is a starter item, it's not going to help us in our main objective. Remember, only non-starter foods can be used there. But I can use it for its action. Add 1 food token to the food supply, and this card goes to the waste pile. It says waste pile here. So this is the waste pile. We'll place the food card here, and then we get a food token, and we place it in the food supply. When we get to the colony phase, we're going to have to eat food. We're going to have to feed all the survivors who are sitting here in the colony. And the number of food we need is equal to the number of survivors in the colony divided by 2. So we've got 6 there at the moment. We'll need 3 food here in order to feed everyone in the colony. If we don't, then our morale will start taking a hit, and we don't want this to hit 0 because we'll lose. Let's see what other cards we can use. Junk's fine. It sounds unuseful, but it means that we could have re-rolled using junk. We could have re-rolled one of our unused action die. Try and improve on that 1. We can't re-roll it now, it's in the used pile. But the fuel might be useful. It says play this card when moving a survivor you control. Do not roll for exposure for that move. I'm keen to do this because one of the other actions that do not require an action dice is to move a survivor. Let's move Olivia and we'll play this card. So this one's going to the waste pile. We'll take Olivia and I want to move her to one of these locations. Now remember, we're pretty keen to find some food, and food is most prevalent, the icon furthest to the left, at the grocery store. Let's move her there. Now once more, remember, when we go outside, we move. So not just when we kill a zombie, but when we move, I'll take that move action, we have to roll the exposure die. But given I've played fuel, that means I don't have to. So, that was a useful thing to try and keep the risk down. I think we're going to move Gabriel as well, so let's take Gabriel out of there. He's going to accompany Olivia at the grocery store. There's room for, you can't see it because those zombies are in the way, but there's room for 3 survivors here. Now, I don't have any fuel to help him, so I'm going to have to roll this exposure die. And we were lucky. We rolled the blank side, nothing's happened. We've got one more action die here. Let's go back up and now perhaps use the search. It doesn't matter which one we use. Gabriel's got a search ability of 3+. He needs a 3 or higher. We've got a 6 here, so let's use that. And this means we get to draw one of the cards at the grocery store. Remember, ideally we're looking for food, and we've got food. Excellent. 2 food to consider food supply. So this is double food, but it only counts as one icon towards our objective. Well, we got what we were looking for. So let's take this and add it to player 3's hand. If it wasn't what we fancied, then we could keep searching, draw more cards. I'll show you that if and when the time comes. So we've got some food. I can use this to try and help us with our objective. I could use it to help us fill the food supply, but I'm thinking maybe some of these colonists are going to move away. Or I could use it for helping us with the crisis. Remember, if I don't complete this, then we add 3 zombies to the hospital and 3 to the gas station. Well, I think I will help with the crisis, but I'm going to use this medicine to help us with that. Normally you place these face down, alright, because when you're playing with the traitor, the betrayer, they could be putting stuff in here. Alright, well, let's keep it face down, but yeah, we got one medicine here, that's 1 down, 2 to go. I think that'll do for Gabriel. Let's move over to Harmon, player 1. Remember, we're still in the player turns phase, and player 1 can take their actions, but before we do, we must draw a crossroads card. This one didn't happen. Maria didn't appear, so this just goes back on the bottom of the crossroads deck, and then we draw another. This time we get airplane if the player moves and Sophie Robinson is in play. Well, that's not likely to happen. Sophie's not in play. Let's see what cards we have here. We've got fuel, a couple of medicine, some junk, piece of food. Let's spend these 2 medicine. That'll sort out our crises. There's 3 cards there now. That's all we needed. We've got some food. Let's put some food in the colony. It's not going to get wasted even if we don't eat it. Let's move Talia off to the school. And we'll use this fuel to stop her rolling a die. She's real good at searching, so let's use this 1+, that's all she needs. So any die will do to search. School should be pretty loaded with food, I'm guessing at the canteen. Yeah, we got food, excellent. That's 2 food we've got. We need 9 in total, don't we? So that's 7 more to go. Why don't we use another die and search again? So she draws another card. This time we got 1, 2, 3 barricades. This is some knowledge and training or education. It says once per round during a turn you may build a barricade without spending an action die. It's quite useful, but I'm not sure we want it just yet. What I'd quite like to do is try a game. What you can do at this point is you can make a little bit of noise. You can rummage around, spend a little bit more time rooting around and place a noise token here. So let's do that. We'll find out the consequences of doing that a little bit later and see what we get. It's a baseball bat. This is a tool, not a weapon, unfortunately. It doesn't have the gun icon, but has the tool icon. We can equip this performing an attack. And you may kill 2 zombies instead of 1. Interesting. I think this is slightly better than the barricades. You see, I can't take both of these. I have to choose one and the other gets put back in the pile. You know what, I think I'm going to take that. I'm going to take the baseball bat. This goes back on the bottom of this search pile. I think I'm going to equip this straight away, actually, to Harmon Brooks. and we'll have him move off to the police station, I think, in search of weapons. There you go, Harmon. He's perpetually going upstairs, this guy. And at the police station. Let's roll the exposure die. It's a blank. We were lucky. Got one action die left. Let's search here. Harmon only needs 3+ to search. Draw a card. Ooh, it is night vision goggles. At the beginning of each round, roll 1 additional action die. It's pretty neat. Do I want it or do I want a weapon? Let's search again, shall we? Make some noise. These things, they entice you. They go, right, yeah, you want that. But they keep you from focusing on your objective. A walkie-talkie. Once per round, you may reduce the unused action die of another player by 1 to increase mine by 1. I'm not sure if I want to go again. Remember, we've only got 5 rounds to do this in. It's early days, isn't it? So maybe this is useful. Maybe the night vision goggles. I don't want to put too much noise down there. Let's take them. Walkie-talkie goes back in the police station. I'm pretty sure there's nothing more I want to do here. No, let's leave it here. Let's move on to Alexis Gray's group. Player 2. First we get rid of the old crossroads. This one didn't trigger. Draw a new one. Music, it says, if the player makes a search action with a non-exiled survivor. I do think we're going to do some searching here. Obviously playing multiplayer, this is meant to remain hidden from the player whose turn it is, so they don't know when this effect is going to trigger. Playing solitaire like I am, that's unavoidable. I'm going to be aware that when I make a search, this thing's going to trigger. So that's one thing that the game loses when you're playing solo. You're going to be aware of the trigger. Let's have a look at his cards. We've got some fuel, medicine, a couple of food. Alright. In that case, I think the decision's pretty easy. We're going to move both our survivors to the gas station. We're going to use our fuel to do so we don't roll for exposure. There's room for 2 survivors here. But our waste pile's building up. And this is important, because when the colony starts getting a little bit dirty, for every 10 cards in the waste pile, we've got 6 there so far, we lose a morale. So you've got to keep that in check. And that's okay, you can use any one die. Let's use this number 3 here to take 3 cards from the waste pile. And we'll remove those from the game. Now we're going to search, I think. We're going to keep hold of this stuff. So old Rod, I think, is going to have Rod or Alexis. Now let's have Alexis. Alexis is going to use a 6. Her search is 4+. So I think 4 or higher. That's 6 to search. Let's see what we get. We've got... ooh, lighter. That's good, because that counts as a weapon. Equip once per round. When the survivor performs an attack, you may play fuel to kill 4 zombies instead of 1. Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, I'm definitely taking this one. No need to search again. Of course, having searched, remember our crossroads effect, we're going to have to resolve this one now. You laugh as you push the ruined shelves aside, revealing a guitar case. Inside you find an acoustic guitar in wonderful condition. You sit down with it and, holding your breath, give it a strum. You wince at the noise, but after a few minutes of tuning, the notes that come from the instrument are enough to make tears form in your eyes. We've got 2 options now. When you see option 1, option 2, the active player, we're playing solo so it's us anywhere, but Alexis's group should decide. Option 1, we either... that evening, as things quiet down in the colony, you pull out your newfound prize and play, soothe those present, and so as a reminder that there is more to being human than just surviving, gain 1 morale. Option 2, Next morning, as the people rise for their morning meal, you play an old spiritual that speaks of hope and the good things that will wait beyond the hardship and pain. All players roll an extra action die at the beginning of the next round. Interesting, interesting. So those are my options. What type of tune will I play? I quite fancy the old spiritual that's going to give us all an extra action die. I like that because that means more searching, potentially. This one gets removed from the game now. Now I'm a bit concerned about the number of zombies that we have, so let's use our last action die as an attack. I think I'm going to use Alexis. She only needs 5+ to attack. There's no free spaces here for zombies to arrive, so we're going to take out one of these and she's got to roll for exposure now. Roll our die. Oh, it's frostbite. That's not good. This is bad because not only does this count as a wound, but at the beginning of every turn, any survivor with frostbite will take another wound. So this will continue to damage Alexis until we can cure that. Remember, we don't want survivors dying, we lose morale. So let's use our medicine and we'll clear that up straight away. Now, we're going to use these 2 food and add them to the crises. Then finish our turn. This now ends the player turns phase and we move into the colony phase. There's not much to do here. We pay food. We don't have any survivors in the colony anyway, so there's no food to pay. Check waste. We've got less than 10 cards, so we're fine there. Now we resolve the crisis. Remember, Killer Instinct said we need 1 food or medicine equal to the number of non-exiled players. We've got 3 players. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got an additional 2. So we've succeeded, so we don't have to add these extra zombies. And then an additional 2, which is what we have, to gain 1 morale for preventing the crises. So our morale goes up to 6. These cards are all removed from the game now. Next step says add zombies. First we add zombies to the colony for every 2 survivors at the colony, rounded up. So if there were 3 we'd add 2 zombies, if there were 2 we'd add 1 zombie, okay? So divided by 2, round up. There's no survivors there, so nothing there. Now unfortunately we've got a hard lesson to learn at the non-colony locations. For every survivor at a non-colony location we add 1 zombie. So at the police station we add 1. At the grocery store we're going to have to add 2, so we add 1. There's no room for a second zombie. 2 survivors, 2 zombies get added. There's no room here. So this is called an overrun, a zombie overrun. Instead of adding a zombie here at the entrance, we kill the survivor with the lowest influence. So that means Olivia Brown is killed. We'll remove her card and a standee from the game. And we're going to lower our morale by 1 for losing a survivor. Then we step to the school. We've got 1 survivor, 1 empty space. We get to place a zombie here. Now we've run out of standees, but they've supplied these tokens that we can use in their stead. So we can put this guy here to represent a zombie. The next thing to notice is there is a noise token here. For every noise token, we remove it. And for each token removed, we roll 1 of our action dice. And on a 1 to 3, we attract another zombie. Okay, we're lucky, we got a 6. Next up is the gas station. We've got 2 survivors here, so we're going to have to place 2 zombies. There's only room for 1. We're going to have to kill one of these, and it's Rod Miller, I think, that's going to bite the dust. Yeah, his influence is 40. Alexis is 46. Lowest influence goes. And our morale drops to 4. Oh, there's a noise token here as well. I forgot to roll for Harmon. Let's do that now. Alright, we're good. It's a 5. Next you check to see if your main objective is complete, and the game would end immediately at this point. We're not there yet, nowhere near. The round tracker moves down. We've got 4 more rounds, and the first player token moves to the right. Next turn is going to be a lot trickier for our survivors, but we've learned some valuable lessons. Join me next time as we continue Dead of Winter.